Hello students, in this class of ours we are going to study what the nesting movement is. In contrast with the tropic movement of the plants, if we study nesting movement, we could say the tropic movement was undoubtedly growth movement, whereas nesting movement may be growth or may not be growth. Another thing was that tropic movement was directional, whereas nesting movement is non-directional. A movement being non-directional means that from the direction of the applied stimulus, you cannot determine the movement of the part of the plant. Direction of the movement of the part of the plant cannot be determined by the direction of applied stimulus. From whichever the direction you apply stimulus from, it is going to affect the movement of the part of the plant always in the same way. Rather, the movement of the part of the plant will always take place in the same direction irrespective of the direction from which the stimulus is being applied. So that was mainly about it, and now we will see two types of nesting movement. One is thigmonestic movement and another is photonestic movement. So the best example for studying thigmonestic movement is the example of you can say touch me not or Mimosa pudica. Mimosa pudica, touch me not, Lajvanti, Chui Mui. These are the names of the same plant, and now we are going to see how this thigmonestic movement is shown by the. See, time and again I have told you my drawing is very bad, but that does not make any difference. So far as understanding of the concept is concerned, it will be crystal clear. See, this is called base of leaf. This is leaf, this is base of leaf. This is leaf and this is base of leaf. When the leaves of this touch me not, Mimosa pudica, Chui Mui or Rajvanti are not touched, in the base of leaf there are certain swellings, pad-like swellings. These are called pulvinous. The plural is pulvini. Plural of pulvinous is pulvini, and they are pad-like swellings, and they contain large number of intercellular spaces between them, and here the loosely packed large number of parenchymatous cells are there. This is all not important. We are going to see how this is going to work. There are certain intercellular spaces in the base of the leaf, and similarly they are present here also, and similar of this pad-like swelling is called pulvinous and plural is pulvini. Time and again we will refer them as pulvini. So let us see. Initially when the leaves are not being touched upon, what happens is, this is let us call one half, this is another half. So both the halves of the base of leaf, this is base of this leaf and these are the both the halves. This is the base of this leaf and these are the both the halves. The amount of water distributed in the base is equal, like this it is equal. Because of such distribution of water in the base of leaves, the base of leaf remains firm, F-I-R-M, firm. The base of the leaf remains firm and leaf remains upright. Leaf remains upright. What happens when you touch it? When you touch it, your touch produces an electrical signal or electrical impulse into the leaf, and this leaf does not contain nervous cells. So these electrical impulses are conducted by the normal cells. Nerve impulses are not there. So normal cells, normal cells it runs through, and after that these electrical impulses act on a phytohormone or a plant hormone. Because of that, the water from a particular half, I don't want to call this as lower half because then this will be upper half of this leaf. So I will make another photograph here, and it will become like this. The somewhat arrangement like this will take place. From this half, water will migrate to that half. From this half, water will migrate to this half. Initially, when the leaves of the plant were not touched, the amount of water in this half and this half and this half and that half was exactly equal. and because of such distribution of water, the tug of pressure being same, the base of the leaf was firm and the leaves were upright. When you touch them, electrical impulses are start flowing, and they are conducted by the normal cells because nerve cells are not present, and those electrical impulses then act on a plant hormone. That plant hormone ensures that from this half of the base of leaf more water is migrated to the that half, and from this half more water is migrated to this half. So now inside these two, the inner halves, both the inner halves, the amount of water is less because of this distribution of water. Such distribution of water in the base of leaf, the base of leaf is not able to remain firm and the leaf droops. Leaf droops. That is what we were trying to say, that the thigmonastic movement, it is because of touch. If the leaves of the touch me not or Mimosa pudica are touched, then they get folded, and this is how they get folded. Initially, when they were not touched, in this half and this half and this half and that half, the water was distributed uniformly, and because of such distribution of water, the base of leaf was firm and leaves were upright. When you touched, the electrical signal was generated, that was conducted by normal cells, as nerve cell or neuron cells are not present. These electrical impulses act on a plant hormone. That plant hormone migrates from this half, more water is migrated to that. From this half, more water is migrated to this half. And because of this distribution of water, the base of the leaf is not able to remain firm and the leaf droops. This was all about. After 15 to 30 minutes, some books say 10 to 15 minutes. Anyway, this is not a moot point. After some time of your touch, the water will migrate back into this half and that half, migrate back, and the arrangement of water, distribution of water will be somewhat like this. The moment distribution of water is restored back to the normal, the base of the leaf will become firm again and the leaf will become upright. That was all about thigmonasty. Now we will be studying about photonasty. So we will study about two flowers, dandelion flower and moonflower. Moonflower. See here, the concept is only one. Dandelion flower opens up in daytime. Dandelion flower, and closes in the night. And moonflower opens up in the night and closes in the daytime. Irrespective of which flower opens when, what is more important for us is to understand how the opening and closing of the flower takes place. Let us say dandelion flower, when opens up in day, what happens? This is the petal, inner side of the petal, outer side of the petal. If the growth on the outside of the petal is less than the inside of the petal, then that flower will open up that particular time, whether it is day or night. So dandelion flower is doing so in the day, whereas moonflower is doing so in the night. But opening up and closing of the petals of a flower is because of the differential growth. Whenever the growth outside is less and inside is more, it will open up. When the growth inside the petal is less and outside is more, the flower will close. Dandelion flower does opening up in the daytime, and night time it closes. Moon time opens up in the night and closes in the daytime. That means in the night, the growth on the outer side of the petal of the moonflower is less than the growth inside, so it opens up. That's all about photonasty and thigmonasty.